cheat sheet. Hello. This is a really cool method. I'm really excited about it because it's something that lots of folks do in their head but maybe don't have a name for, and it's called, the technical one that you'll see all throughout high school, it's called the cover-up method. And pretty much what it is it's a logical way of thinking through by writing equivalent expressions. And so I think, okay, 3 equals 17 minus, I don't know, some messy stuff. So I can kind of cover up the messy stuff and say, okay, well, 3 equals 17 minus something. And I can figure out, okay, well, maybe I don't know what that whole mess is, but I know what this something has to be. That something has to be equal to 14. And so if I know that something, whatever that something was, equals 14, I know that all the stuff that I covered up, 2 times x minus 1, has to be equal to 14. Great. Well, I'm not quite there yet because I can keep going, right? I know that 2 times whatever this stuff is, blah, equals 14. And so this, we know, has to be 7. So x minus 1 is equivalent to 7, right? And I would call these expressions that we wrote here, you can call those equivalent expressions. There are other ways of representing the same mathematical ideas along the way. And here, you might be at this spot and saying, like, I know what the value of x is because I know what value minus 1 equals 7, and that's 8. Right? So once we know, we get to a point where we say, okay, now I can actually see what value has to make sense. I can know what my solution is. So my solution, the value that would make this equation true, is x equals 8, and I can try it by actually substituting that 8 back in to make sure that my mathematical sentence is correct. The key to the cover-up method is it's a thing that you might ordinarily do in your head that you're trying to make more explicit, right? You're trying to show what are all the equivalent pieces, right, like along the way that gets you to a point where x equals 8. And I think that's actually the tricky part. I think some folks think, oh, well, I'm just kind of doing it along the way. The hardest part, at least for me, is in representing, oh, I know that this expression, 2 times x minus 1, has to equal 14, which allows me to move forward and allows me to show my thinking as opposed to just sort of guessing the number that I know makes sense in my head.